Bethany Warren here. Welcome back to season 23 to 24 of our Millwall fan show with new panellists, but the same focus, just everything Millwall. Enjoy!
Welcome to the 23-24 series of Millwall No One Likes Us Talking's, our Millwall fan show. I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Debbie Julians, Myles Thornton and Jeff Burnige.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
It was sad news this week when we heard that Brian Snowden had passed, and Jeff Burnige is going to share some words with us.
Well, Brian's part of that magical team that people old enough can remember that won
59 home league games in a row.
The team that was put together by Billy Gray, and two of the important members of that team were Brian Snowden and Debbie's dad, Len Julians. Brian was captain of that team. He had 3 seasons with us, 64 to 67, and unbelievably, 2 of the 3 seasons were promotions from what would now be League 2 and then after what would now be League 1. So consecutive promotions. So that was an amazing achievement. Brian was the skipper. It was a great side, and I know that 1 or 2 players who I've spoken to about him have always said what a great leader he was. Debbie has been friends with Brian's daughter, and she can tell us a little bit more.
Thank you, Jeff. Lee was my childhood friend when our dads played together at Millwall. Then in America when our dads were with Detroit Cougars, and as teenagers in Kent. Lee's asked me to say a few words on her behalf. I'd like to thank you all for your kind words about my dad, Brian Snowden, a genuine legend, captain and player, rock solid, super lion, a great of his time, a tower of strength. Just a selection of some of the amazing comments left on Facebook and the tribute from Millwall Football Club. I can't tell you how much these words mean to me and my 2 brothers, Gary and Dominic. We were overwhelmed and moved to tears, but these were tears of love and pride for a man who had brought so much joy and happiness to so many fans who remembered watching him play all those years ago. We have chosen the Millwall colours that he played for in Millwall for the funeral. His coffin is blue and the flowers are white. Dad died peacefully after a short illness. He was all that the fans have described and more. A fantastic dad, grandpa to 4 girls, and the latest addition, a boy at last. I wonder if he'll follow in his great-grandpa's boots. He will be loved always and remembered forever. Thank you so much for your support at this saddest time for our family. Lee.
Well, our sincere condolences go out to Brian's family, the extended family, and our hearts and thoughts are with you. Brian Snowden, you are a lion, you were a lion, and you always will be. Brian Snowden, rest in peace. Moving on from there, we had the John Berylson Memorial Game last Saturday when Millwall played Bristol City. It was a tough game, but it was a wonderful remembrance of John Berylson. All that took place and all that happened were exceedingly well done. And so many people were affected by the proceedings that took place. But then there was a game, 90 minutes of playing against Bristol City. How did you see it, Jeff?
Well, I think the events prior to the game did have an effect. There wasn't the focus on the game entirely, because that wonderful tribute that was paid to John, the club and the fans handled that situation very well. The game itself, the stats don't look good. I think we had one shot on target. We weren't at our best. People are concerned about the home form. The away form's been really good, but it would have been one of those games that if it had gone to 0-0, we probably would have gone home 4 points out of 2 games. Maybe the manager's mind wouldn't have been concentrated so much, but losing the first home game, losing that cup game 4-0 to Reading, it will have given him pause for thought. It wasn't a good performance. It's hard to pick someone that performed up to their normal capabilities. A little bit of excitement when Romain and Idomo came on towards the end. They both tried for their lives. They injected a bit of a spark, but it looked like petering out to a 0-0 draw until that sad, very late goal where, from a throw-on, so many people tried to get their head on that ball. I think 3 attackers and 3 defenders. It glanced off ahead, right to the boot of the Bristol City centre-half, and he put it away. I think that was only one of only 2 shots they had on target. So it's not a game that will go will live long in the memory. No.
Myles, you were reporting for us at Maritime Radio. What did you make of it?
Well, firstly, it was a great send-off to our late chairman, Mr. Barrelson. And unfortunately, the game didn't live up to the billing that we thought it would. It wasn't a great game. We had 10 shots on goal and only 2 of them were on target. I think it's a bit of a concern that 8 of our shots went off target. And I think that's something that I hope is improved for the Norwich game. They just didn't get into the game really. But hopefully for the Norwich game they'll be back, and as Jeff said, our away form in this league has been good and our home form hasn't, so hopefully the away form will continue.
Debbie, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, really, just repeating what both Myles and Jeff has said there. I mean, it was a poor performance, and it's such a shame. 95 minutes to lose that goal. It would have been a tad easier if it was 0-0, but never easy. But I think there's a lot to learn from that game and make the manager look and really go back and have a good look.
Thanks for that, guys. Yes, it's a difficult one to take in many different ways, but let's be hopeful. Let's hope that that one's put behind them and things improve. I'm sure they will. Anyway, we'll take a break there and hear about our sponsor, G&M Motors.
Hi, this is Jess Tuffield from G&M Motors. Operating from a modern and purpose-built facility in Milton Road, Gravesend, G&M Motors offers a complete range of new Honda cars and services. As well as new Hondas, we have an extensive range of used cars, including ex-Motability cars from a variety of manufacturers. Specialising in new Honda cars, G&M Motors has been retailing quality new and used vehicles to the people of Kent and South East London for over 4 decades. We have been a Honda dealership since 1972 and are the country's longest serving supplier of this renowned marque. Conveniently sited just 2 miles from the A2, 10 miles from the M25 and Dartford Crossing, visitors to our showroom are assured a warm welcome from our experienced and friendly staff. Our facilities include an on-site workshop capable of providing full vehicle servicing and repairs, as well as an extensive parts department offering genuine Honda parts and accessories. The expertise of our skilled mechanics is not limited to just Hondas, but extends to most makes and models of motor vehicles. Whatever your motoring needs, visit us at G&M Motors today. The newly extended hours of our G&M headquarters means that you can contact us from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Saturdays. To contact us, call us today on 01474 365 026.
Thank you, Jess. Debbie Julians here. Don't forget to call Jess on 01474 813562. G&M Motors have been dear friends with the Julians family for over 4 decades now. From my dad Lenny to me, Debbie, Lions together.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Debbie Julians, Myles Thornton and Jeff Burnige. We're most grateful to our sponsor, G&M Motors of Gravesend and Meopham. Thank you. Our first guest is well known to many Millwall fans. He was born in Greenwich but grew up in Thamesmead and started his football career with the Lions back in 2003. He was playing for EFL League 2 club Crawley Town as central defender when we spoke last. But it's now with a National League Dorking Wanderers. He began his career at Millwall and made 322 appearances across 4 spells with the club, but kept the bench warm on another 63 occasions and scored 9 goals. He also played league football for Brentford, Bristol Rovers, Wycombe Wanderers, Leyton Orient and even Crystal Palace. Most recently, he co-presented Millwall versus Fortuna Sittard with Carl Bates. And I've got to say, Carl said, what a lovely bloke he is. Well, there you go. And I think we know exactly who it is. I'll say no more and welcome the one and only Tony Craig. Hello, Tony.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Hope you're all well.
Hello, Tony. Jeff Burnige here.
Hello, Jeff. How are you, mate? You all good?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
Good.
Hello,
Glad
Tony.
to hear.
Right,
Hello, mate. You all right?
yeah, good mate. You?
Hi, Tony. Debbie here.
Hi, Debbie. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Good to speak to you.
Good. Yeah,
There
you too.
you go.
Good.
There you
Looking
go.
forward to it.
Well, it's always worth looking forward to, that's for sure. Anyhow, Tony, great to have you on the show once again. Before I let you off to the panel, I mentioned you made 320 appearances for the Lions. You crashed through the 700 appearances last November. But where are you now? How many have you played now?
Oh, what am I up to now? I think I'm up to 720 something now. It's one of them. Obviously, I'm very proud of that record to get that sort of number of games. Obviously, it's been a long career, one which I've thoroughly enjoyed, and it's one of them. As long as my body holds up and I'm doing myself justice on the playing field, then I will continue as long as possible. You know, I'm 38 years young now, and that so still putting it out there week in, week out, which I'm very proud of to say that I'm still involved in the game, which I love.
It is fantastic, and we appreciate every moment of those 320 games, and the one in particular, us getting back to the championship when you captained the side. Anyway, Tony, I'll pass you over to Debbie.
Brilliant. Hello, Debbie.
Yeah, that sounds great. Keep on going, Tony.
Thank you.
I listened to your thoughts you expressed with regard to the passing of our chairman, John Berylson. Most players have personal memories of this great man. What sticks out in your mind most about John?
I think first and foremost, the right word is he was a great man. You know, he was a man who had time for absolutely anybody and anybody. It didn't matter if you was the captain of the football club or it didn't matter if you was the dinner lady at the training ground. He knew your name, he knew your family. He just cared about you. You know, he just one of them. It just seemed that he always had a smile on his face. I've never learned so much about American history in my life. You know, it's one of them which he loved talking about. And I'll be honest with you, I'm sort of a little bit of a history buff, and it is one which I sort of thoroughly enjoy talking about him himself. But he was one of them. It didn't matter who you was or who you are. He was just always there, and he always made time for absolutely anybody. And it's one of them. Obviously, it hurt me like everyone else that connected with the football club because obviously I spent a lot of time with him. We used to have a monthly phone call, and I certainly will miss them phone calls going forward.
Yes, lovely.
Hello, Tony. Myles here.
Hello, Myles. Right, mate.
Yeah. I was impressed with your co-commentating with Carl Bates. Is broadcasting something that appeals to you when you hang up your boots, or have you got any other roles that appeal more to you?
it's one of them. I'm very lucky that Max and Cole sort of asked me to come on. You know, if Max is sort of busy behind the scenes and I can make the game because obviously I'm still playing, I don't mind doing it. You know, it's one of them. He said to me, "Do you want to give it a try and give it a go?" And I just felt comfortable doing it. You know, obviously it's easy to do it at Mill because obviously I know the players' names and personally and positions they play and everything like that. So. Again, if I'm called back and when that may be, I don't know. I'd love to do it again and going forward, maybe something I could look into. You know, I've certainly got the face for radio, as they say. So it's one of them. It's one of them. Long run, I don't mind giving it a go. You know, and thankfully, I think a few times which I've been kindly invited to do, I thoroughly enjoyed it. If I enjoy something, why not do it again?
Tony, it's Jeff here. It's my turn to ask a question, but before I do that, I'm wondering how John Berylson ever understood your estuary London accent when he first started speaking to you, because you have got a good one, and presumably some of the history lessons might have lost a little bit in the translation. But I want to ask you about your long career at Millwall. 320 games over 4 different spells. I can't believe it was 4 different spells. In that time, you played a lot of games at centre-back. Of all the centre-backs partners you had, who would you say was the best and who you most enjoyed playing with?
Oh, that's a great question, that is, Jeff. You put me on the spot there as well, you know, because I've got mates in that position as well. So,
I'll mention a few of them. Mention a few of them.
Yeah,
then.
no, obviously, the first and foremost, obviously, Paul Robinson. You know, what a leader, what a man, what a mate. What a dad, what a family man. You know, he was literally a man who left everything on the pitch. He led by example, and it was one of them. You know, when sometimes like things ain't going right for you, he was the man you look up to. Do you know what I mean? He's the one who gave you that glare and sort of got the best out of you. Do you know what I mean? And he obviously, I think we had a good understanding with each other when we did, which wasn't a lot, but he was a partner which I thoroughly enjoy playing with. You know, he's one of them, a man like my own heart, put our body on the line week in, week out. We both knew our strengths and we both knew our weaknesses, and thankfully our strengths rectified this football club, you know. The other one, I've got to say Darren Ward. You know, for me, what a man. I learnt a lot of him over the years. He was a pro who I looked up to, you know, when you're sort of coming through youth team and everything like that. And he was the one who done things first. When I mean done things first, like the protein shakes, the stretching after training, the bands. Before that, I'd never seen anything like this, you know. It's just pure dedication to the game. His diet. We'll have nights out. He'll have a banana and peanuts in his pockets. You know, everyone else is going out having a beer and all that, but he was such the pro, and he wanted to put himself in the best shape. He'd have the protein snacks with him, you know. So obviously, he enjoyed himself, but he knew that to be in pristine condition, that he needed to look after his body as well. And again, what a pro! He read the game so well. Everything seemed effortless from him. To say with Stuart Nethercott as well, he was obviously he was a leader when I first come through. He was the voice, the vocal point of the whole team, and he was someone who you wanted to please when you're coming through the youth team, because you knew if you had him on side, you were close to the first team. You know, that was the sort of presence he had about him and everything. And he's always someone who, at that time coming through, I knew that my voice, and I had to use that getting older, and he was someone who I learned a lot of as well.
Terrific. Over to you, Debbie.
I just wanted to ask you, can you tell me about your memories of when you first joined Millwall at the age of 16?
Oh, wow. God almighty, I must have gone through his story a good number of times now. It was one of them. I joined when I was 15. I got released by Wimbledon, because that shows my age. It was Wimbledon Football Club back then. It was one of them. I had trials at a couple of clubs, which unfortunately didn't happen. But lucky my dad knew a bloke called Dave Memmott, you know, who was part of the youth team there, obviously, and just got me a trial. You know, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. And it was sort of last chance saloon for me, if I'm being honest. I knew that. And sometimes you turn up and your face fits. And then I just turned up, and we had Alan McCleary, Kevin O'Callaghan, Andy Massey, who were part of the youth set up there. Obviously, Dave Mehmet. And they needed a left back at the time. So obviously at the time I was a left back. So it just seemed to work, you know. And again, the story goes, I had to miss my English GCSE to go on a trial in France. And that is funny because I see Andy Massey today and I was speaking to him about it today. So even now, like, it's just a story which I love talking about. So I've just missed, I had to miss my English GCSE at the time, go on a trip to France to go on this trial to impress, really, to see if I was worth a YTS. And thankfully, after that that trial in France, it just seems that I never looked back from there. You know, it just seems like I went there as a little boy and I sort of come back as sort of a man, really, you know, because obviously I just got that bit of confidence in myself and that gut, and I knew the desire I had to give at this football club. And sometimes, again, as I said earlier, the strengths just do the justice for the club.
Yeah, I think you do miss out the fact that your skill as well as just being in the right place at the right time and determination.
Oh, mate, yeah, no, that's it. You know, of course you need determination. Obviously you need a bit of skill as well, but sometimes you need a bit of luck as well. You know, because obviously, again, when your opportunity comes up, sometimes it was the injuries was lucky come in my position. You know, so obviously that got me sort of chucked into the first team quicker than maybe what should have happened. But then again, in football, you only get one opportunity, and I'm so glad that I took it. And like I said, to get 322 appearances at this football club is something I look back with great fondness.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tony, I just wanted to ask you, my main highlight as a Millwall fan is being at Wembley in 2017. I just wanted to ask you, how did that feel when you was there, obviously playing, and lifting that trophy?
Oh, again, that's just a dream come true for me. You know, as the saying goes, I actually dreamt that as a boy doing it. So I've actually done it, you know, and it's one of them, the going up them steps is something which, yeah, wow, even now, you know, I bore my boy about it now. You know, my boy's literally just started his journey playing football now, a 6-year-old kid, and if he has 2 minutes, I bore him every time. Whenever Wembley comes on, I always say, yeah, I've walked up them steps. But again, it's a game which, well, we all knew what the pressure was, because obviously, like I said, we come unstuck the year before, and there's some pressure on us as a team, and sometimes the script's already written. And I honestly do believe that script and that year was written from the beginning, because there was too many things which went in our favour when things wasn't going right for us. You know, because we had a bit of a blip that season. You know, we weren't really consistent. You know, we'd win a few, lose one, and everything like that. And it seemed that when the teams below us got close, they just didn't take them opportunities. And then sometimes you've got to take them and go, well, yeah, let's go. Like the script is written, and thankfully it was. And it's a day which me, my family, and obviously the fans, the club will cherish forever.
Roy of the Rovers stuff, that, Tony. Roy of the Rovers. Sorry, Tony of the Rovers.
Thanks,
Tony.
I want to go back to that answer you gave to Debbie about how you came to join the club. I'll just add something to what your recollection was. It was the end of a season, and I think that trial game, I think we played Tottenham, if I'm not mistaken. And after that, we were going on this tournament in France, in Paris, just east of Paris, and you were invited to come along on that. And by the time you came back, the decision was made. I was on that trip, you probably remember, and I was heavily involved in the youth development at that point. I think I'd stopped being youth. I think I'd stopped being academy director, but I was still heavily involved. And you made a great impression. And you said about taking opportunities. Tony, I've never seen you ever fail to grab an opportunity if one came along. So I think that's a mark of you. But tell us a little bit more. Apart from the Wembley appearance, that got us into the Championship.
Yep.
What do you recall about that following season when we were in the Championship?
Obviously, like I said, we had all the positives from the season before. It was one of them. It was a bit of a disappointment for me, you know, the following season. But I think I only played 6 or 7 games, Jeff. I think that following season till January. You know, it was just unfortunately, obviously, Neil Harris went in a different direction. You know, that's football. You know, obviously, like I said, he makes his decision. He was the manager at the time, and obviously he went with someone else, which sometimes you just got to take on the chin. But to get them 7 championship games under my belt was always a pleasure, and it was always a pleasure to get the club back into the championship. That was my aim when the club signed me back, was to get Millwall Football Club back in the championship. And I'm just so grateful and so pleased that I was glad and that I could, well, not only me, but the whole team could do that, because we always knew that, let's be honest, Millwall Football Club's a championship club, and to be in at League One, it wasn't good enough at the time.
You mentioned that you played over 700 games, and you must love playing, Tony. You must love it. And you're now at Dorking Wanderers, an up-and-coming club who are now, I think, making their debut season in the National League. And I think Callum Best is involved. Is that right?
He's with the ladies, to be honest with you, Jeff. He doesn't have any sort of input with the... he's with the ladies team.
When you say he was with the ladies, he took after his father then.
I was just about to say.
Ladies team. He was with the ladies football team. He's a part of that one. But no, it's one of them. I was there on loan from February last year. National League last season. So I went there. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think if people know me, I think if you're honest with me, I'm honest back with you. And if people promise me something and they keep their promises, I'm in the whole way, because let's be honest, in this game you meet a lot of bluffers. A lot of people promise you this, promise you that, and don't come to tuition. And so for me, the manager and the people who work behind the scenes were fantastic with me, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. And Jeff, I think you know me. I think as long as I'm playing, I've got a smile on my face and I'm doing myself justice, I want to stay in the game as long as I possibly can. I know that game, I know that time's closer than what it was. Of course I do, It's one of them. I'm a 38-year-old man now, but again, the body feels good, the mind feels good, and I still feel sharp. And again, I'm still doing myself justice on a Saturday and a Tuesday. So as long as that continues, well, why not? Can I not reach 40? That's my aim. I want to play till I'm 40 at least, and then I can sort of sit back, look back on my career and have absolutely no regrets. Because I'll be honest with you, of course I've had bad games, yes, but it's one of them. Throughout my career, decisions I've had to make, I ain't got no regrets, and that's the way to live your life, I think, personally.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, it's great to speak with you, Tony. Been a pleasure.
Brilliant, thanks for having me on. Not a problem.
Join us again. Before we go, though, a prediction for the weekend. We're up at the Canaries, where we haven't won a game of football since 1968. What do you reckon we might do this weekend?
Oh, no. Do you know, so I did look at that as well, that one. Like I said, that Omer's got to be broken sometimes, so why can it not be this weekend? It's obviously, like I said, we had a great away win, first game of the season. I know Middlesbrough haven't started the best, but they're going to be a good side this season. So why can't we go up there and maybe win 2-0?
That'd be lovely. We'd take that all day long. So, Tony, we look forward to you returning again. Keep up your great work at Dorking. And there's a legend doing extracurricular Millwall work as well. All the best to you, your family too. It's great to have you on. Cheers, Tony.
No problem. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. Thank you. See ya.
Good night, Tony.
Thank you.
Good night.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Good night. Well, lovely. Tony Craig. What can we say? What a lovely man, without a doubt. Anyhow, we'll take a break there and listen to Paul Owens and Fisher FC before we hear from Ellice Barr.
Hi, I'm Paul, a Millwall and Fisher FC supporter. There's always been strong links between our clubs, and as such, Fisher FC would like to remind Millwall season ticket holders and supporters club members that entry to watch Fisher is just £5 if you show your card at the gate.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay. With me, I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Debbie Julians, Myles Thornton and Jeff Burnige. Well, discount breaks with the fish at Salter Road when Millwall are not playing or are too far away. That can't be a bad deal. Get yourself down there and see what you can hear and see.
Hello, Ellice here, and I'm glad to be back talking about Millwall. I know many have watched my videos, so you will all know that I don't wear splints as much anymore. I'm really looking forward to starting secondary school in September. Thanks for your support along the way. It is now time to hear what all the Millwall teams are up to, and what is next for Garion Rollitt's Lions. Come on, Millwall!
Yeah, come on, Millwall, Ellice. What a star you are. I see you on the videos. Your walking's brilliant. You're really coming on a bomb. And keep us informed of what's going on. It's magic stuff. Well, I caught up with Paul Loding, Millwall Romans and Pride General Manager. Let's hear what Paul has got to say.
Hi all, it's Paul Loding from the Millwall Romans with just a little update on how our pre-season's going. Obviously, we're training every Wednesday at St Paul's. We've attracted a good few players that are keen to start. So if anyone is interested, 7:30 till 9 o'clock at St Paul's Sports Ground every Wednesday evening. Our Pride team had our first pre-season friendly against Charlton. Charlton looking to add another team to the league this year, so they've sort of looking to split it into effectively a first and second team. They played the second team. First game back was never going to be easy, and they did succumb 4-0 in the end to Charlton, but obviously pre-season friendly, so it doesn't really count too much. We've got our fixtures out, and both teams are in action on the 3rd of September in the LUL, yeah, from our side, there's a couple of friendlies coming up. Another one on Sunday at home. It's a 1:20 kickoff. Pride are playing the newly formed London Freedom on Sunday, with Romans having a game the week after, a first pre-season friendly against Stonewall FC. Game against Norwich the weekend. Bit disappointing, obviously, starts of the season, but I'm going to say 1-0 to Millwall.
Well, that's very good of you, Paul. We've had a 2 and a 1, and despite your lips getting stuck together there, you were very informative. We enjoyed that. Let's move on to Millwall Lionesses. They had their final friendly game at Moneyfield against Moneyfield FC Women at the weekend, and for Maritime Radio, Jeff Burnige filed the following report.
This is Jeff Burnige reporting on the new season for Millwall Lionesses. Well, the Lionesses concluded their tough pre-season schedule with a match against National League opposition. They went down 8-1 in the end to Moneyfields from the National League South West, conceding 5 goals in the last 12 minutes or so when they had made several experimental changes. Last season, the Lionesses fell short of their aim to get promotion to the National League as soon as possible, and the need for this is shown by the probable loss of up to 10 players from last season's squad. Some have joined National League clubs, and others have joined good clubs in the Regional League, where it is now common for players to have a financial incentive. The departure of manager Jack Wheeler and the arrival of celebrated and experienced FA Pro licensed coach Keith Bonus has caused a rebuilding of the squad for this coming season. Keith was Millwall manager when he led them to the National League back in 2010 and went on to manage Estonia for 6 years. 11 players have re-signed for this season, along with several players from Welling Women who narrowly missed promotion to Millwall's division last season when led by Keith Bonus. Keith has also captured forward Tamaya Lorraine from Long Lane, and she has been scoring goals in pre-season, including Millwall's goal on Sunday against Moneyfields. Recruitment is continuing apace, particularly for a senior goalkeeper to work with Millwall's excellent crop of young keepers. But the London and South East Regional League season gets underway on Sunday with a trip to Sutton United, so time is short. Millwall's men had a 3-0 win at Gander Green Lane in a pre-season friendly at Sutton United, and a repeat of that result would be a valuable start.
Well, it certainly would. It certainly would. Debbie, what do you make of these pre-season friendlies? I mean, you must have heard your father speak about them, I would imagine, over time.
Yeah, well, yes, I did. And what do I think of them? I don't think they're treated the same as what they used to be. I spoke to Tommy Wilson today, and we had a good chat because obviously he used to call my dad his teacher because my dad used to say, let's go to night school, and he'd take him off to watch games at Arsenal and things like that, to sort of watch their tactics, watch what they do, try and put that into your game. So he always thought, as my dad was his teacher. But he said, Billy Gray and my dad and the team, there were no friendlies. There was no training. Everything was given with passion, dedication and tactics. And it's you have to. He said, otherwise you become lazy. He said, your mind has to be the whole time on that tactical, positive drive that you're playing a game and for the right reasons to win. And it's even with the free kicks, he said, you had to play to win. So his words are, there are no friendly games. It's about applying your best game. He said, my dad was a technical, with both he and Billy was so technical that they would say, just get lazy, you forget, you have to remind yourself continuously that you're on the game. It's all about discipline. And it becomes a habit, and so therefore never a friendly. You can't just switch off your mind. You have to be committed, and you have to play to your capacity. So it should never be different. And really, with this, is this a good indicator? And nowadays, let's hope not. Let's surge forward, but let's treat everything, and for all the fans coming along to watch. They deserve it.
Well, thanks for that, Debbie. That was a most informative view, and I think people will get a great appreciation from that. Myles, you watched the Millwall Lionesses. What are your thoughts ahead of the season? Do they have a promotion potential then?
100%. I think they're a really good team. They've got some really good players, some really good youngsters, and yeah, definitely. I think if they try hard enough, they could easily get promoted.
Well, let's be hopeful on that account. Jeff, what's up next for our Lionesses, and what can you tell us?
I'd just like to say that those reports that you hear from me on this podcast, they are the same ones that I do on Maritime Radio on a Monday morning, which is 96.5, and I was at the training on Tuesday night, which Millwall Football Club came up trumps because our training night at St Paul's clashed with a Fisher game, and when we couldn't find the opportunity to train, Millwall said, come and train at the Den. So the Millwall Lionesses first team squad trained on the beautiful turf at the Den in preparation for this week's game. And on the way home from that, I had Maritime Radio on, and I could still hear it at Chelsea Bridge. Amazing. 96.5, worth a listen. As for this weekend, Myles is very optimistic, but it is a new team. And I personally think they will find they need time to find their feet, because there's always players on a holiday and injured and coming back, and I don't think that squad is really finalised yet. Sutton United at Gander Green Lane, they're going to put the kick-off back. I think it's shown as 2:00. It's likely to be 3:30. For the obvious reason that it clashes with another important game.
And yes. What's that important game then, Jeff?
Norwich versus Millwall, live on Sky TV.
Yeah.
And preceded, of course, by the Women's World Cup final. But I'll be doing another report on Monday on the Sutton game, and let's keep our fingers crossed that the players find their feet after that beautiful training session at the Den on Tuesday.
Super stuff, Jeff. All sounds good to me. But next up for Gary Rout's Lions is a trip to Carrow Road to face the Canaries and possibly our former goalkeeper, George Long, who joined them yesterday. Anyway, Norwich have had a reasonable start to the season, which sees them drawing 4-4 at Southampton last time out in the league and defeating Hull City 2-1 in their opening league game at home by 2-1. On Wednesday night, they faced QPR and came out 1-0 winners with a 99th minute added time goal. Well, I think you could knock down the QPR fans. They were shouting for their manager out, just like they do for other managers. Not only that, they were saying he's got to pack up playing that game of 5 at the back. It's no good. Well, it obviously didn't work on Wednesday night, but perseverance and playing different games and how you play games works differently in different places. Obviously, the Lionesses, the England Lionesses, they play with 3 at the back, don't they? Anyway, after that, something to add, a bit of, I suppose, spice is that I've heard that Cole Bates is going to get there early. So that might mean he crashes into the ground before everybody else. And we all remember what happened many moons ago. Can we score goals for a long overdue win at Norwich? As I mentioned to Tony Craig, it was 1968 when we were there last. Well, Debbie, what do you reckon?
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. They need to pull it out of the bag. They really need to after last time. So let's hope they get in there. And, if our Long, or past Long, as I would say, he'll be on the bench if nothing else. So it's going to be different. But I let's hope so. I'm going to say 1-0 too.
Super. Myles.
Yeah, as Debbie said, they need to pull it out of the bag after the defeat against Bristol City. But obviously we haven't won there since 1968. But I'm optimistic, as I am with the Lionesses, and I do think we're going to do it. I think 2-1. And I think
2-1.
Yeah,
okay.
2-1. Yeah.
Well, that'd be good. We've only scored 1 goal so far. We could double our odds at Norwich. That would be wonderful. Jeff.
What a hard game to forecast. Our home record is beginning to cause concern. We've had those 2 games so far this season, the Carabao Cup game and the league game, and we haven't played well. But our away form has been good. If you remember at the end of last season, we won at Blackpool. We've just recently won at Middlesbrough, which not many people forecast we would. So I think there's reason to be optimistic about going to Norwich. And that long record back to 1968, come on, that's got to be broken sometime. And I just got a feeling we might do it this time. So I'm going to go clean sheet, Norwich 0, Millwall 2.
Excellent, absolutely excellent.
Wow!
So we're all pretty positive, and why wouldn't we be? We've got a bunch of players who can pull it out of the bag when they want to. We just need to have the energy to fire it in. Let's hope we can do that on Sunday. Anyhow, we'll take a break there and hear what Fantastic Fanatics can do with a little bit of help from ourselves. And that's all of us. We can all help if you can.
Hi, I'm Richard Gordon, and I'd like to invite you to become a Fantastic Fanatic. Fantastic Fanatics is a great way to raise funds for your sports club. Sign up today, find your club, and securely register your everyday debit and credit cards. Every time you spend with our retail partners, they pay a percentage back to your club. It costs you nothing, and you can win cash prizes along the way. Visit fantasticfanatics.com and help your club be the best it can be.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Debbie Julians, Myles Thornton and Jeff Burnige. Well, with Christmas only 129 days away, why not spend on gifts through the Fantastic Fanatics site and give a bonus to the Millwall Community Trust? It will help them deliver the very many activities that they do across all age groups. Our final guest hails from Sheerness, but it was not always like that. He's often found airing thoughts and views on Facebook. Millwall fan, man and boy, let's welcome Roland Pearce to our virtual studio. Hello, Roland.
Good evening, Eamonn. Good evening, everybody else there.
Hello, Roland.
Hi, Roland.
They're all there. They all say hello.
Hi, Jeff.
They are. It's amazing how Jeff's voice is always recognised. I've noticed that.
I certainly recognise that voice.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine why as well. Anyway, Roland, before I let you off to the panel, was supporting Millwall an option, or was it your destiny?
I think it's got to be a destiny.
Come on then, why?
Dad supported the Lions, uncles, cousins, and I think I went to the first game in '62 when I was 4 years old.
Good.
Can't remember who it was against. My first memory is Norwich City, but I don't think that was the first game.
No.
Believe it or not, Norwich City.
Well, there you go. That can't be bad. Did you remember some bloke called Len Julians?
He was my dad's favourite player. I think. He always used to talk to me about him. I couldn't remember, but he always used to quote Len as being one of his favourite players.
Well, say hello to Debbie Julians, his daughter.
Yeah, hello, Debbie.
Hi, how are you? That's
I'm
lovely
absolutely
to hear.
fine.
Good. And it's
I think I actually mentioned on Facebook or one of the other sites to yourself about my dad's love for Len.
Yeah, it was. We had a conversation, didn't we?
We did.
Via
yeah, we
Facebook.
did.
Yeah, lovely. That's really nice. Thank you. So it's 30 years at the Den, Ballina Road, and you have attended obviously many times. But your standout game, which was that, and what period and why?
It was a hard thing to choose, to be honest. And I've chosen the 18-19 season and the FA Cup fourth round versus Everton. And the reason I've chosen that is, to me, that's a typical Millwall performance, underdog, playing against a much bigger club, a lot of fight, not exactly the best game, but exciting, with a great finish. And it stands out in the memory.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Yeah,
it was a great game.
Fantastic.
Even Jeff remembers that.
Yes. That was the Murray Wallace winner, wasn't it, from 3 yards?
Yeah. The Coops' the second goal was a little bit dubious, but it stood. So Murray got the winner, which was a great finish.
We'll hand you over to Myles now.
Hello, Roland. Myles here.
Hi, Myles.
You put out some strong views post the Bristol City game. Can you share your thoughts with us and the listeners?
Obviously, I put that post up. Obviously, it was a great result away to Millwall in the first game, and I'll be honest, I was over the moon with that, and it was a bit unexpected. But the second game, and obviously the cup game in midweek, was quite disappointing, to say the least. And Saturday against Bristol, obviously an emotional day. And what I was saying was, like John Berylson, obviously the sad passing on July the 4th, right in the middle of pre-season, the guys were away. I think it's obviously affected the team. I don't see how it could not. And then some of the other points I made, the transfer rumours with Zian Fleming, I think, in my view, it looks to me that maybe his head's been turned, like sort of thinking he may be going somewhere else, and who would blame him, I suppose, really. Obviously, I don't know that. The fact that we brought in some, in my view, really good players. The formation's gone back to the back five, and I really think that's where Joe Bryan came into the fold. Obviously, a really good signing, and but really he is a left wing back. He's gets up the pitch a lot, gets some crosses in, and he really suits a back three, and I think that's in Gary Rowett's thinking. But it's also, we got most of our good results last year going with a back four. Bradshaw, top scorer last season. His best ever season as a professional in the Championship. And he's now on the bench. I find some of the things a little bit strange, to be honest. And obviously, George Long has gone to Norwich.
Okay, Roland. Myles.
Thanks, Roland.
It was interesting, Roland. Very interesting.
Good thoughts, mate. Jeff.
Roland, it's been a while since we've spoken, hasn't it? How are you?
I'm absolutely fine, Jeff. Thank you very much. And yourself?
Good. Yeah, also. Look, one thing I'd like to ask you about, your opinion and those that sit and stand around you at the games. We brought in these two youngsters, Romain Esse and Idomo Emakhu. We've seen quite a bit of them, both pre-season and in the games so far. How have you taken to them, and what do you think the fans' view of their involvement is at the moment?
I would say, like myself, it's excitement, really. Obviously, Romain is a very talented guy, and I think 100% deserves a chance, whether it be as an impact player off the bench or starting. I honestly think at the moment I'd start him, and probably in the place of Zian, or maybe on the right. But Emakhu, to me, I think you see that in the interview that they gave after the Middlesbrough game. He seems very hungry. He excites me a lot, actually. I think he wants to go places, and as I say, the same as Romain, whether it's off the bench or whether it's a starter, I think the future is promising. And to be honest, I'd like to see a lot more of the youngsters coming through, because they've obviously got a talented group there with how well they did last year.
Well, they did do well. I mean, did you go to that under-21 cup final that they won at the Den?
No, I saw it on live stream, but I didn't. I didn't go.
It was a good group, and I think Kevin Nugent and Paul Robinson, who run the under-21s, they're aware that this year is going to be a different group, because not only have one or two players moved on, but we've got Chin Okoli, who's at Bromley. We've got Nana Boateng, who's at Woking. And intriguingly, we've got this young goalkeeper, Joe Wright, who's gone on loan to a league club. He's gone on loan to Salford. And he hasn't made the starting lineup yet, but we've got to keep our eyes on that one. He's a very, very promising goalkeeper indeed. So do you think in general then, Roland, that the fans will be pushing for Romain and possibly Idomo to be starting games sooner or later, or do you think we'd stick with the experienced players until the season settles down?
I'll be honest, I think the fans are looking for him to come in because of that impact, obviously, they made at Middlesbrough, but obviously they are very young. One of the comments I made in my post on the Middlesbrough game, I said that if you was a defender and you've had sort of 60, 70 minutes of Duncan Watmore running at you, and then you see Romain Esse and Marco coming off the bench. Yeah, I think I'd like to see him given a chance. And I think Gary's got, for want of a better word, a get out of jail free card, because if he did start them and it didn't work, I think they're going to get a chance. They're going to get the fans are going to be a bit lenient with them because they know how good they are.
Mate, you right there, Rowan?
Yeah, good point.
Very wise words there.
Yeah. Anyhow, look, before you go, as is a tradition, can you give us a prediction for Norwich versus Millwall? We haven't won there since you was a boy back in 1968.
Obviously they've had a draw and that 4-4 away to Southampton, and they won 2-1 against Hull, and I think Hull went in the lead in that game. Yeah. So they've scored 6 and they've conceded 5. Yeah. So I'm going for a scoring draw. Hopefully, right. I think that would be a good result, and I'm going to go be brave 2-2.
2-2, the Lily White boys. Yep. Okay then. We'll put that in the box. Thanks, Roland. It's been great to hear from you again, and we wish all the best to you, and many thanks for sharing your thoughts.
Thanks very much, everybody.
Yeah, you'll have to come back again in the not too distant future and tell us about the story of Gillingham and running across the pitch or something, I seem to remember. But anyway, we'll leave that in the cupboard for now. But anyway, bye for now. Take care, my friend.
Night.
You and yours.
Good night, Roland.
Great speaking with you. Hopefully you meet soon.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Roland. Thank you.
That was great. Roland Pearce. Hey, another one of Jeff's friends from the cupboard. But there you go. We'll take a break now and listen to Bethany Warren talking about clean feed.
Bethany Warren here. Clean Feed by Ted Robinson.
Hold up. We're talking about an online recording platform.
Okay. Our Ted Robinson sponsors our online Clean Feed recording platform.
What were you thinking of?
Well, it sounded a little bit like a Parfum Dom Intense.
Really?
Behave. Right, just go online and see who else uses Clean Feed. It's a great bit of kit at a great price.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me are No One Likes Us talking team of Debbie Julians, Myles Thornton and Jeff Burnige. You can't help but smile at that advert, particularly when Ted Robinson listens to it. Anyhow, very kind of Ted to sponsor our virtual studio, and it certainly is a great bit of kit. All right, well, we are all looking forward to the next game, but in the meantime, here are a few matters of interest for Millwall fans.
First off, supporters who were unable to purchase a John Berylson tribute book last Saturday can now do so at the Den or through the Millwall website. The 116-page memorial detailing the life of the late chairman and containing tributes from those who knew him best can be now bought for £5, with all profits going to the John Berylson Legacy Fund. For those nearby, tribute books are available at the Den's ticket office, which is open from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Thursday and 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Fridays. Alternatively, Curtis Sport are stocking issues for those who wish to purchase online. Good night.
Lewisham College is working in partnership with Millwall Football Club to deliver a unique opportunity for passionate 16 to 18-year-old male and female football players. The courses will be running at Millwall's professional pitches and classrooms inside their stadium at the Den and also at Lewisham College, where students can benefit from a full college experience, mixing with range of peers and assessing a variety of student services. And I must say, from my own personal experience, it's a great place to be.
Well, congratulations on what you've achieved there, Myles, and I say that on behalf of all of the team. You've done yourself proud, your family proud, and most of all, you've done us proud as well. So, well done, my friend.
Thank you very much, Eamonn.
But I suppose for more information, you might visit the Lewisham College Courses Sport Group on https www.lewisham.ac.uk/courses/sport. Next week, Myles will return to host the show with Dawn, Ted and debutant panellist Steve Warren.
Thank you very much. Good night.
For those of us who are not going to Norwich for the game on Sunday, one possibility is to go to the Harry's Bar at the Den, where they're showing the game live at the same time, overlapping with the Women's World Cup final. The doors open at 10:30. The World Cup final is 11 o'clock start. Norwich is a 12 o'clock start. And there will be two televisions running side by side. Anyone that's not seen the refurbished Harry's Bar, it is quite magnificent. It's a good place to go. Entrance for that is £5. Concessions is £3. And I think that will be a really good way for all the fans to get together and watch the Norwich game.
And you get a free drink in that £5, £3 deal as well.
I definitely would have mentioned that if I'd known that.
I thought you would. And you can also purchase your tickets online. Thanks, Jeff, for that one. Right, don't forget, you'll be able to listen to the No One Likes Us Talking team bring reports from our games, both home and away, for both the Lions and Lionesses, and also updates on the Millwall Community Trust matters too, on Maritime Radio, broadcasting on 96.5 FM, as far away as Chelsea Bridge, and as far east as Sevenoaks. Additionally, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter social media sites and all popular podcast sites. Well, that's it for me. Thanks, Debbie.
Good night.
Thanks, Myles.
Thanks, Eamonn. Good night, everyone.
And thanks, Jeff.
Good night, everybody, and thank you. Bye.
Finally, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Good night.